Happy New Year and welcome to the first edition of my blog where I'm going to be doing a daily blog of deals that are either going very well or extremely poorly, and you can learn how to get involved in the real estate investment business from the outside looking in. And you can see, looking through the window like a fat kid at a cake store, wanting to come in the cake store and see exactly what we're doing, how we're doing it, and how deals flourish and how deals die. And this is sort of a value add that I want to give you, my follower, as a sort of a little gift for you to be following me. I'd love for you to share this information. My passion is helping people make passive income from anywhere in the world. I'm in Canada right now at helping my parents. I want to spend as much time with my parents as possible here in Canada where I'm originally from, but I do travel the world. You're going to see me blogging from pretty much all over the place. I could be in Australia, I could be in Hong Kong, I could be in Europe, I could be pretty much anywhere. You'll see that I travel quite extensively. I have a fairly good lifestyle, and I can do real estate from pretty much anywhere, specifically how I do things. So if you care about someone that's frustrated, that doesn't want to work anymore, share this video, like it, and make sure that you learn from it as well. Not just listen to it. It's not like just watching porn. I want you to get involved as well because you can have a lot of fun doing it, if you know what I mean. Specifically real estate. Not that porn isn't great too, but anyway, that's a side subject. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is talk about cooperation. You know that thing that you have on Sesame Street? Cooperation, on how we can cooperate to make a ton of money. I'm going to talk about the last deal of last year that I did with a student. Her name is Kim, IT professional. She's in IT. And she's a fairly shy individual by nature and not a lot of confidence when I met her. We met almost a year ago. She wanted to do things on her own, didn't make any money in real estate at all. Decided to take the plunge, invest in some coaching with me, and now just made some money, actually. Just closed her first deal at the last of the year. We closed on the 29th, the last possible day that you can do a deal in real estate in 2016, and we did. Now, how it ended is not necessarily how it started. So I want to talk not only about cooperation, but I want to talk about being firm about being flexible. Because if you are firm about being flexible, you can do quite well in this business. There's not a one-word answer. There's not one answer when you're doing a deal. It can start one way and end another. And if you're fairly flexible, you can actually make a ton of money.
But sometimes there's a job so big, if we want to get it done, we've got to bring those birds together and all work as one. And that's cooperation. Cooperation.
Kim is the star of this episode. We started engaging. I started kicking her ass, telling her what to do, how to do it. She came to my place at an event called Success Reflex, where I take 6 people. I hold them hostage in my room for 3 days, and they basically have to do deals or I don't let them out. So it's quite entertaining, and it's actually quite life-changing in that you see how deals are done. You're immersed in a 3-day period to get deals done, and shit happens. So Kim actually got a deal from that, and we were to buy it and hold it, which is really what I'm all about, is you buy a property and it pays you forever. A lot of people like flipping properties, making some cash. That's cool, but then you have to go kill the chicken again in order to get, eat again. I prefer to have a chicken, not kill the chicken, hold on to the chicken, and have that chicken lay eggs forever. And that's really what I'm a proponent of, is getting as many properties as possible. You get to 5,500 doors, which are people that live in those doors. Obviously, those are tenants. Each door represents a tenant. You get 55 to 100 of them, and you're making about 20 grand a month passive, which is more than most people make working their asses off, and that's a really good number. $20,000 to $30,000 a month is more than most people need to have a comfortable life. So that's after all expenses, of course. That's net in your pocket. So that's really what the goal is how can we get you to $20,000 a month? So Kim works in IT. She's fairly shy. She doesn't have a lot of confidence, or didn't have very much confidence. I shouldn't say she doesn't have any now, but she does. We've been working on that very much. Got a great deal. Property makes about $30,000 a year. That's a $300,000 building, basically. So if in commercial real estate terms, if something is making $30,000 a year, it's worth $300,000. If something makes $20,000 a year, it's worth $200,000. Skill testing question. If it makes $100,000 a year, guess how much it's worth? Yes, $1 million. Basically 10 times the net. That's after taxes, insurance, maintenance, management, and all the expenses is what we're looking at. So we're looking at net numbers. Makes $30K net, basically $300,000 a year deal. So found the deal, locked it up. I flew actually to Cleveland to take a look at it. Really great shape, beautiful property. Met the owners, sweet ladies. Fantastic deal. And found an investor to invest in the deal. So we're pretty excited. Got this investor out of California. His name's Dan. And seems like a hell of a guy. And never met Dan, Facebook friend. And said, hey, if you have some, good deal, I'd love to, plug some cash into doing something with you guys. I'm like, cool. And found this great deal, and we're going to make it happen. And as the time was ticking, Dan was basically biting his fingernails going, looking at this, I wanted a little bit higher return than doing a three-way partnership, because that was the kind of the deal, is a three-way partnership, three-way split. Kim found the deal. I negotiated the deal, put the deal together. Dan finds the money, 3 partners, we get in the deal, we split the money 3 ways, and then we refinance Dan out within a year, and he gets his money back. So that was the deal. We get to basically a couple of days before closing, and Dan's getting a little, worried because he's not digging the numbers. And I've explained it to Dan, and Dan's a very, very sharp guy, but Dan doesn't feel comfortable with the deal, which happens. Nothing against Dan, just shit happens. And it was a time of the year, near the end of the year, where we couldn't get necessarily his attorney involved. We couldn't get the things that made him warm and fuzzy involved. So we had a choice. Say, Dan, see you later, which we could do. Find another Dan, which we had 24 hours to do, which is going to be difficult. Or we try to make Dan happy and, just move on to the next one. Many people get frustrated when they're not flexible in the deal that they're doing. So a very important key, something I've learned over 20 years of deal making, is if you're not super flexible, if you're not going to take some flexibility lessons, if you will, you got to be firm about being flexible. I've said this before. If you're not firm about being flexible, it's very difficult for you to close that deal. You're going to be really stuck on, Dan's supposed to send the money, Dan's not spending the money, Dan's trying to screw us, Dan's trying to do this. Nothing to do with Dan. Dan's great. Dan is just doing what Dan needs to do. It's just protect Dan. And we got to protect Dan too. And if Dan's attorney's not available and the deal's got to get done at the last minute, we literally got the deal signed up on the 20th of December. Had to close by the 31st. That's an 11-day closing. 11 days. Very hard to buy a deal usually in 11 days. We had 11 days to get this thing closed. So Dan had done nothing wrong. Kim is fairly new. She's like, we're going to lose the deal. So we have a choice. Lose the deal, piss off Dan, or we figure out a way to all work together so we can all make money.
But sometimes there's a job so big, if we want to get it done, we've got to bring those birds together and all work as one. And that's cooperation. Co-op, co-op, cooperation. Co-op, co-op.
We said, hey Dan, how about you just take the deal and you pay us off 20 grand. You get a great deal, still makes 18% the way it is at the numbers that he got. So it's an 18% return for him, which is fantastic, with an upside because he can raise rents. And there's one unit that needs a little rehab for 5 grand that he can get 6 grand a year for, which is fantastic. So he can actually rehab one of the units at $500 a month. If you rehab it, it costs $6,000 to rehab it. Literally, he has to put drywall on this thing, put a new kitchen. And it's Section 8 stuff, so it doesn't have to be super beautiful. And it's less than 1,000 square feet. So you're looking at about 6 grand in work. So if you put 6 grand in work and charge $500 a month for it, you get 6 grand back a year. You basically get your money back in 1 year. So it's like you put in 6 grand, you get back 6 grand a year. That's a no-brainer. It's 100% return, cash-on-cash return on that. Gross, of course. Still phenomenal. So Dan's happy because he got this building. He pays Kim 20 grand, which is super awesome. It's 11 days work. I am the one who had to fly there. So in this case, we're going to share the profits in that because I helped find Dan. I helped put the contract together. I flew over to see the property, and I'm literally like making sure that Dan's happy, making sure that Kim's happy. And okay, Kim gets half of 20 grand, but is half of 20 grand better than no grand? Absolutely. And it's for 10 days, literally 11 days work. It's the first money she's ever made in real estate. Now, when she first met me, she never thought she could make any money. And now she does a quick flip and makes 10 grand. So that's pretty good for Kim. And I'm pretty proud of Kim because she could have just said, pardon the expression, but fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore. she stuck to it. And you have to realize that sometimes when you can't take a dinner, take a sandwich. It's okay to just make a small amount if you can't make a large amount. So hopefully this makes some sense to you. And if it doesn't, well, email me or write a post below or a comment below, and I'll answer voraciously the posts that you have. I'm extremely passionate about what I do and how I do it. And if you do post comments below, I will 100% answer. So these are all me answering. A lesson here is firm about being flexible. If you can't take a dinner, take a sandwich. And you don't want to piss off the person that has the cash either. Like, Dan is going to look after Dan's interest. And it could have been Dan or Frank or John or Matilda or Joanna or anything else. The point when you have an investor is always take care of the investor. And if the investor wants things done their way, fine. If it makes sense and it's reasonable and there's a time restraint, that's okay. Dan didn't do anything wrong. Kim didn't do anything wrong. I tried to do the best thing for both parties and make sure that everything is cool. So on the last day of the month, instead of having no closing, we had a closing. Kim got a wire for $20,000. Congratulations to Kim. Dan got a property, which is fantastic for him, at an 18 cap, which is an 18% return, cash on cash return. And the sellers are happy because they had to close by the end of the year or literally lose the property. It's a $300,000 property that we got for pennies on the dollar. Right place, right time, right attitude. Everybody wins. So what can you learn from this? You tell me. Hopefully you enjoyed this little video. Hopefully you start looking for properties that have great value, because that's a secret to making money in real estate. Try to get to the magic number of 100 doors or so, 55 to 100 doors. That'll make you $25,000 to $30,000 in passive income when you know what you're doing. And there's a lot of moving parts, so make sure you get a great mentor to teach you exactly what to do and how to do it. Make sure you follow me on Facebook. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well, so you can get some great insights on how to make money in real estate the right way, not from a guru that just teaches it, but from a guy that actually does it on a daily basis. God bless. We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day.
But sometimes there's a job so big, if we want to get it done, we've got to bring those birds together and all work as one.